Alright, are we live? Yeah, we're live.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I hope your midterms went well if you are done with it. Today is the showcase meeting, but before we start, I'm gonna do a few announcements first. So the game that I was just playing was called Unbeatable, and it's actually our next guest speaker next week. So we will have the opportunity to talk to the developers of this game. And if you saw, it is a rhythm game, and they were on Kickstarter, and apparently they got $300,000 of funding for this game. So if you could go to their website, www.unbeatablegame.com, and you could take a look at their team over here. And it would be great if you guys could come up with some questions for them to ask. Maybe about their development, especially if you're making a Unity game or you're interested in rhythm games. I'm sure they will have a lot to say about that. Um, Also, if you want to learn more about indie development and indie studios or getting involved with things like Kickstarter, it'll also be great as well. You could actually download their game or prototype on Steam, like I did right now, and play it for yourself and see if you could beat hard mode because I definitely can't. But yeah, that's our next guest speaker. And today we have attendance, and I really want you guys to fill this one out because we're actually planning on having a Foley workshop. If you don't know what Foley is, it's making kind of like sound effects for your what was that sound? uh it's making sound effects for your game. Or if you want to make certain sound effects or you want to learn more about Foley or sound design, you should definitely attend this event. It would be on, let's see. We were planning on having it on November 18th, but that is really not for sure yet. Also, this would be an only in-person event because we want to do a live demonstration. And the reason why I'm asking you guys to fill this form out is because we want to get a head count of who would come. If we did hold this event, because I'll need to let one of the speaker know. And the speaker is actually a assistant professor from the Department of Theater, and she is an expert in sound design. And yeah, she says she's willing to give this event, like speak on this event, but we'll need to get some information first, and it would be great if you could fill this form out so we can see how many people would come. I mean, I see there's 30 people in the in the call right now, but we only have 13 responses so far. So please fill this form out. Okay, so moving on, we have the pre-production showcase. And today, what we're basically focusing on is introducing your team and who is in your team. And I'm sure you guys had maybe you had some changes or different plans on your games after you talked to your team. So if there is, please tell us the final game idea you decided on as a team. Tell us who is responsible for what tasks on your team. And if you made some kind of plans or if you have any prototype or any visual art. Sorry, I can't talk today. If you have any visuals for your game, please show us. And we want to ask you, what kind of troubles have you run into so far? And for the officers, please tell us what kind of resources or help or event you would like from the club. What would help you to develop your game, and what can we provide for you? So please think about those questions while you prepare. And finally, if you haven't signed up for the showcase, you will need to sign up, and it is in the announcements and in general chat. So let's look at the sign up form right now and see who was signed up. Is there anyone who would like to go first? Alphabet Olympics? Would you like to go first?
We can go first, sure. Okay, let me get the screen share set up here. Give me a second. Okay, screen share. You see this? You see the screen?
Not yet. It's loading.
Okay, I'll give it a second. Still loading?
Yeah, it's still loading.
Okay, is it bad internet or should I just try again?
Might be the internet. Maybe try lowering your stream quality and try again. Okay, we could see.
See it? Okay, cool. All right. You see this, right? Slides?
Yes.
Okay, so we're Alphabet Olympics right now, and we're going to do a showcase of what we've done with our project. If you don't remember, our idea was initially our pitch was it's going to be an endless runner game that you use multitasking on the keyboard. So as you can see from this concept art I drew here very quickly, you have 3 screens, and well, you have initially start with one screen that's controlled by one character, and it's just like an endless runner. You press the button on the keyboard like X, and the character X jumps over hurdles. But as you add more and more, you have to start dealing with more characters across the keyboard, and it's kind of this fun multitasking kind of game. 1 letter per screen, 1 button per letter, and more obstacles and more screens are added as the game goes on to make it more difficult. And we're still sticking with that idea. So we haven't made any changes to that idea, and we're still working on the initial aspect of that. The design process is we're going to start with that first, and then if we have more time, we're going to add more and more to it, basically. So even if we run out of time, we'll still have the base game. That's our idea. Right now, our team is, for programmers, we have Carter, me, who's Dylan, and Bahir. We have, for art and animation, we have Hal, and Star. And for sound design, we have Miles. So that's our team right now, team of 7. And now it's time for me to show you the game. You can see your screen, right? Okay. Well, we're showcasing this game on the Gato engine, which is this 2D. It can be 2D or 3D. We've chosen 2D for this game, and we're just going to show you what we're doing right now. If I run a demo here, you can see that we've randomly spawned in a letter here. It can be any letter out of 26 letters. This time it's S. We made different sprites for each of them, and we have an obstacle here that if you press S, it jumps over it. And this is what we have so far, but I think it's pretty good. We have the physics engine down, we have the randomization of the letters down, and we have the enemy down as well. And if the obstacle touches the character, the game crashes. So we have to fix that. But once we get that done and we add a title screen and we add more obstacles, then we can add more characters in, I think it'll be a lot smoother from there. But that's not all we've done. We've also had concept art. One of our artists did this great concept art. I know what you're thinking, but don't say Among Us. It's not Among Us, okay? we've had ideas that we can add more to the game because I told you before that this game is initially about finishing the base game and then adding more to it once we have more time. These are just some ideas. Like for example, the idea that if you get hit, it's not just the game doesn't just end. You downgrade from uppercase letter to a lowercase letter, and now suddenly you have to switch between the two. And you can collect power ups to upgrade back to uppercase letters. Also, different costumes, like Halloween themed costumes, like the skull or the ghost. That's a fun idea if you have different holidays and things like that. And as for power ups, you can have balloons that make you jump higher and things like that. And we're always open to other ideas because it's always an open development process. This isn't a very closed, like strict high concept game. We can always add more to it. If you join our team, you can pitch stuff to us. And that's what I also want to talk about. Because we have artists working on character design and animation, and that's good. We have programmers working on random obstacle spawning and multiple characters. That's good as well. And we have sound designers working on sound effects and music, and there's some demos in progress. So we're all working on that right now, and it's all going all well. But we do have some problems when it comes to programming. We might need more programmers. We might need more people learning Godot. If you're interested in this project in any way, it's not too late. You can go to Breakout Room 6 in this server, or you can DM any of us, and we'll try and get you in touch. And if you're willing to learn Godot, again, you don't have to know Godot because we don't know Godot either. We're trying; it's a whole learning experience. So if you're if you're interested in this project, contact us, and we can try and get you in. And if you learn Godot and catch up with us, we can all work on it together. Thank you very much. You can contact the Discord at pitch1659. Thank you.
Great stuff, great stuff. Congratulations.
So I have a couple questions. What do you think, what kind of events could the club provide for you that do you think could help the team or your project?
Events. Well, you did mention the Foley work before. That could help our sound designer. That can help our sound designer out. When it comes to integrating animation specifically into programming, like making the jump from the initial drawing to the game screen, I think we can have some work in figuring that out. Also stuff like I don't know, like random algorithms when it comes because we're also working on like how the random obstacle spawning, like how often the obstacle should spawn and things like that. We don't exactly know how to do that, so if you can figure that out as well, maybe get someone who's more experienced on it, that would help us out.
So speaking of sound effects, what kind of sound effects do you think you would need in your game?
I think you might have to ask our sound designer more on that from Miles. Right now we're talking about jumping, hitting the barrier, hitting the hurdles and things like that. So like when you fail the fail state, and also just general walking. Those are general Foley things that we're working on.
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions? All right. Thank you for presenting. Just as a note, if there's any new people in this call today and you see a game.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Oh, sorry. I asked a question earlier and my mic wasn't plugged in all the way.
Oh, okay.
I was wondering, how long have you been working on the game for?
How long have you been working on the game for? Just a few weeks as of now.
Okay.
Someone also asked, have you thought about making different difficulties?
We definitely could. Again, right now we're focusing on the base game right now, but if we add so many varied elements like power-ups and things like that we can make it more or less complicated, we can add different difficulties and just or maybe even like a menu where it can toggle on and off things, parts of the game that you want and don't want, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good. So as I was saying, if there's any new people in this call today and you see a project that you would like to partake in, like right now they said they need some Alphabet Olympics needs some programmers who are willing to learn Godot. Godot. I don't know. But so if you see a project that you're interested in, please make sure to contact them. Okay, so let's move on to the next presenter for today. Let's see. Was it
We can go next
Nor?
if you guys. Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
sure.
can go next. Can Jazz Squatch, can you start sharing your screen for the rest of us since I can't do that right now? All right, great.
Are you guys able to see it right now? Or
Yeah, you should just go to the
Yeah.
first slide and then present. All right. So this is our showcase for today, as of what we have basically as of yesterday. So yeah, we can just go to the next slide, and then yeah, keep going. So this is the team right now. I guess the game director, as you'd call it. We have 2 programmers, as you can see, and then 3 artists, and the artists are all doing different things right now. So yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the concept stage. This is just kind of showcasing like the idea for the game. So you can move on. So the story outline, this is really basic. I really haven't put much thought into this, but basically it's gonna take place in an alternate 1980s after the nuclear war happened in the 1960s. And then I think that'll be a fun thing because we can incorporate like 80s aesthetics with post-apocalyptic stuff. And then themes of surreality is something I really wanted to explore because my favorite like game director of all time is Hideo Kojima, so I wanted to kind of channel some of that weirdness in our game. So yeah, like themes of surreality and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through the concept art here. Brawl Flowers did these 2 really great, kind of trying to capture like the surreal aspects of the game. So yeah, we move to the next one too. Yeah, these are both really amazing, and I'm really glad to have amazing artists on our team. So yeah, and then N8, our other concept artist at the moment, did these pistol designs, and then basically told us pick one, and then he would make a more detailed sketch of it. And if we go to the next slide, you can see what he did. You can see there, that's kind of the pistol model we're going with. And then if you go one step further, Brawl Flowers took the sketch into Blender and started working on the first version of the gun. So yeah, that's the concept phase for now. So then I thought I would just show off some of the progress that we've made, starting off with just, I think, our Trello board. So yeah, we've been using Trello to keep track of all our tasks, and it's been really useful. You can see there that we have kind of a few different sections, and I'm thinking about moving to something like Agile or Scrum using this, but I haven't done anything official yet. So yeah, I thought I'd just show you kind of an overview of our current task level in Unity. Pretty simple, to be honest. I did this all in Pro Builder in like 3 hours, so yeah. So here's a screenshot of the current level. It's pretty basic, as you can see. And then if we move to the next slide, we can see just a slight video. You can skip like 5 seconds ahead. The first bit was me trying to get like GeForce experience to work. Great. Okay, yeah. So as you can see, we have some weapon inertia, some basic firing. Yeah, you can switch weapons, which is going to be something we have to work on too, because you got to get a certain weapon pickup. Yeah, all the guns are currently using the same weapon animation. I can't animate, so yeah. But yeah, that's basically what we have so far in terms of a little bit of gameplay. Yeah, here's the roadmap where we're currently going on. This could all change over time. But basically, we've completed the first step. We're about halfway through the second step. Things will get really hard at the third step because that's when the real hard programming stuff comes in. So I'm really glad to have 2 amazing programmers working with us. And then the level design and 3D modeling will come after that, although we already have some 3D models in production, which is great. And then I want to wrap up the level design, 3D modeling, and then finally we'll just QA test and polish everything up. So yeah, that's basically where we're at right now. If you guys have any questions or anything, I think if you want to join or anything, I think we're group number 4 in the breakout rooms, and then there's also like a Discord in there if you want to see. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
It's pretty amazing progress in a short amount of time.
Thank
Oh,
you.
do you mind sending that constant like prototype video to me?
Sure.
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah, I can make a better
Or
one.
no, that's fine.
Okay.
I was curious. I saw that a bar was your concept art.
Yeah.
Were you thinking of making your map like a bar map where you're just
The
getting the
test level right now, yeah, it's kind of like a club/bar. That's like the idea. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I basically looked at a Hotline Miami level and then kind of based it off that from the top-down view. So, yeah,
That's pretty amazing.
thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for was it Noor?
Yeah. If not, that's okay.
I'll have questions for you. Do you think the same questions as before? Do you think there's any resources that the club could provide to improve your game?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, let me think. Maybe if we have some like testing sessions later on, because like one thing I really want to get down is the movement, because we're trying to make the Quake movement feel good. So like, having just some people test it out, and I can put a release on GitHub at some point and people could try it out. Maybe like having like a testing day where we all try out each other's projects.
Sounds great. Also, were you trying? Do you have a sound designer?
We don't have a sound designer currently. I was just gonna do it kind of not great. So if anyone wants to hop on as a sound designer, that'd be great.
Yeah, and it would be great if you could show up to the Foley meeting if we.
Yeah, I think I'll probably do that.
Okay. That sounds great. Does anyone else have any questions?
For the prototype you showed, did you make all the assets like yourself?
No, so basically what I do for a lot of the assets is I find this is really stupid and this is just what I've been doing. I find three like Creative Commons or whatever stuff online or the license for stuff, and then I take it into Blender and lower the poly count, and then I also take the texture file and reduce it to 128 by 128 in Photoshop, so that gives it the old look. And then a lot of the stuff in there was just done using Pro Builder, which is just like it's like Unity level building software. But like the gun stuff was all that was all like using like a Brachy's weapon pack. If you use Unity, you probably know what that is. Yeah.
I'm assuming you're also gonna make the gun's resolution lower.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the plan. As in, getting the texturing stuff is gonna be interesting. Oh, I just see someone wants a downloadable demo. I can push one. We have like a build, like that build that I showed you. I can push one to GitHub later, and I'm gonna send it in here.
Alright, I cut you off there.
I'm good.
Franca, were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say like that's a good way of making like assets really quickly.
Yeah, that was kind of the plan, because like up until like Brawl Flowers has been really good about like this 3D like he's learning it super fast and it's amazing. But like for me, I've tried to use Blender and I can barely use it, so it's really easy to just kind of manipulate it and get that kind of like 90s look. Yeah, maybe I'll set up like a test track or something so people can test the movement. That might actually be a good idea, and then I'll push that to GitHub.
Sounds great. There's also a Play My Game channel on Discord, so you could post that on there as well.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I don't know. I wanted to show off what we did. I'm really proud of everyone on the team.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next presenter. Let's see if we have. Do we have Draw in here?
Oh yeah, Draw is in here.
Like just directly.
Do you think you could present right now?
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry, I was handling something in the background. But yeah, of course, I'll share my screen right now. Does that work?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll present. So this is our game Draw. It's basically a 2D platform that we've all been working on. So originally the plan was kind of really big plan. Like the scope was a bit big, so we decided to kind of like shorten down the game to its basic mechanics. So as you can kind of see on the bullets on the right, it's basically just a puzzle solving game showcasing the art and game mechanics and kind of like the overall aesthetic of the game, solving puzzles, and it's basically just avoiding these like scribble enemies and through drawing different objects help you progress through the level. So this is our initial brainstorm of the game mechanics. You're just kind of figuring out what we wanted to do using the whiteboard website. And here's a more like thorough brainstorm of the level of the game mechanics that we decided on later. And as you can see on the right, those are the ones that we decided on, like player movement, like basic left to right movement, and jumping, and also basically drawing into the game, or in these fixed boxes on the screen, you can draw like static drawings, where if you jump on top of them, attempt to bump into them with the player, they don't move, or dynamic drawings, which after they're drawn, they're fall and they can be interacted with the player. You can use those to progress different parts of the level. And the enemies are basically just going to be moving scribbles that are either static, they stay in place, or they continue moving left and right in a repeated pattern. And we can, and we're hoping to maybe get a couple levels done for now, if we have the time, of like different puzzles for the player to solve and progress through. But for now, we have the design for our tutorial level, which we hope to get done by this is our main priority for now. So this is the first part of our level, the first brainstorm. To summarize it, basically, the player drops in, they spawn in, and it starts introducing the player to different like mechanics of the game through instructions written in the background, like walking, running, jumping over a pit, and then jumping upstairs, etc. And then the player starts to run into the enemies, like the static one or the one moving left to right. And yet you can kind of see on the right where we're brainstorming like different designs for the enemies, which we'll hopefully test out later. But for now, we're just staying with the simple animated scribble. And there's also extra mechanics for helping to add into the game if there's time, like running or crouching, or maybe even like an eraser token for a player to collect to bypass certain hard areas of the level. We'll get into that later. And here's the second part of the level where you're gonna draw a static drawing in the dash box or a gravity affected drawing, and eventually just progress to the end of the level and fade to black. Now the team, we got the artists here, Avery and Christian, and we got our coders, Ryan, Jalen, Kayla, and Deepak. And as for progress, we got some sprites done, like some sprite ideas, just in the concept art. And we also got some animations in progress, like a rough walking and run animation. We also got some concept art for the backgrounds that we've been working on getting in progress, like the one to the left that was drawn and the pictures to the right that were found on Google, similar to what we're hoping to implement. Additionally, we also have this. One of our coders is able to get drawing into the game to work, so here's a small demo of it. And that's been our progress on the game so far. Oops. Now, as for what we need help with, we're still in the phase of still getting physical stuff done into the game, but if anyone has recommendations for like GitHub or Unity tutorials that could pertain to our project and the mechanics we're hoping to implement, we'd be greatly appreciated. And that was our game presentation.
Well, I'm really impressed that you guys were already able to get the drawing aspect partially implemented. It really reminds me of the game where you draw a track and make that little stick guy slide down if you ever played it.
Yeah, familiar.
So your general recommendations for like events the club could have is the Unity or GitHub workshop, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Pretty much.
And do you have a...
I think the tutorial from our own knowledge base in the general voice.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you didn't know, we have a knowledge base on our website and we have a couple of tutorials, articles uploaded on there. So you can check that out. I believe one of them is a GitHub tutorial.
Thank you.
Would you
Oh, sorry.
could you actually send me your presentation?
Of course.
So
yeah.
I can share with the assistant professor who is planning on conducting the sounds workshop. She can actually help you come up with like methods to make the sounds you might want for your game. It seems like you would want paper sounds.
Oh
Is
yeah,
that
that's what
correct?
we're working on. Yeah, they're kind of on the back burner for now, the sound effects. But yeah, hopefully if we have time we can implement those.
Marker screech sound. Does anyone have any questions for Draw?
I have a question in regards to the development. I noticed that you got a pretty neat animation. I believe was in poster progress, was it? So yeah, so how's that coming along and stuff? Is importing simple 2D animations, is that going to be easy, hard and stuff, or like how's it going essentially
Still
on
trying to figure
animations?
it. Oh, animation. Yeah. I've been still trying to figure it out. I've been trying to figure out how to make sprite sheets and implement those, but hopefully be able to figure it out soon.
All right, all right. In Godot, right? Was it?
Godot?
Or I'm sorry, the engine that you're using again? I didn't quite catch it.
Oh, GitHub.
Oh. Oh, Git. Oh, okay, okay, I hear you. All right then. Coolio, coolio.
How long have you been working on the game?
Well, I guess just since the team was formed, like when we were first pitching our games, I suppose.
Was it like a month?
Yeah. Well,
Okay. And
Did
then,
you?
I'm
Sorry.
a bit confused about the question. That's all.
no, yeah. So you don't have. The only prototype you have is of that drawing. The video you showed.
Oh yeah, that's the first like prototype. We figured out the level design. We're gonna hopefully go forward with that.
So when are you gonna get a prototype of a level?
Not yet. We haven't figured. We don't know like the exact date yet. But we're hoping to figure out soon. Our group's actually gonna meet very soon to figure it out. We're
Okay.
hoping to get it out by the end of this semester. Yeah, by the.
Yeah, I mean, really as soon as possible, because once you make that out, once you make it, and then, get some player feedback, you'll get a lot of insight, and there's probably some things you'll want to change.
Of course.
So, yeah, I mean, as soon as possible.
Yeah, we're definitely working on it.
Have you guys run into any problems?
None I can name off the top of my head right now, but we'll make sure to let you know.
Oh, okay. Final questions? All right, then let's move on to the next presenter. Thank you, Draw. Let's see. Is Assassins in White here today? Are you guys ready to present?
Yes, we are here. Stormblessed, he's had his mic muted.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Alright, let me show my screen here. Alright, so we're the Assassins in White. We have 3 programmers. It's me, Alex, and Jason. We have 2 artists, Ash and Kelly. And then we have one level designer, Connor. We decided on the main idea, which is basically the same as it was before. So our assassin is gifted with the ability to change gravity, and he's tasked to kill a king. So the gameplay is going to be him arriving at the castle, navigating the castle, fighting against the guards, and then at the end fighting the king. Then there's also, since he's an assassin, there's going to be some sneaking elements involved. Here's the character movement that I've been working on. Let's see. It's sort of a prototype just to get the gravitational thing to work. We're still working on the rotation part, but this is the gravity shift that I'm working on right now. Then I'm trying to make it, we've been debating if we should make it 2D or 3D, first person or third person. His third person is going to require some more animations, but programmatically, it's going to be much easier to program. But first person looks much more cooler, I guess, in terms of rotation, but I'm still working on that rotation part. I posted some questions in programming section too. This is some really awesome concept art by Ash. This is our first level where our assassin arrives at the docks, and then this is going to be more of a tutorial level. This is the scene that we're planning on like applying in Unity, and that's what Connor is working on, and he's doing pretty awesome too. This is our work in progress right now, and this is all Connor working on our first level. So yeah, this was a short slide, but this was it. Any questions?
Did you guys were the building and the concept video modeled by you guys?
I found it in the assets I bought, which it's a small like a room thing, which we can still use and expand on it. It's a bunch of assets that we can combine together and make a castle. But we're going for a more retro look, so that's why it's going to look more like this. But we have that too. We can use this one too.
They look pretty good. But so you don't need any more artists on your team?
No, I don't think we do, because we have two artists. Kelly is going to be working on the UI part, and Ash is our concept artist, and probably some of our 2D animation stuff. She's going to be important.
I had a question about the gravity thing. I noticed that you change the gravity, but you don't necessarily change your like, do you fall feet
Rotation?
first? Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying, that the issue I'm facing on. Let me see if I have it in slide. Yeah, you see here? I think I posted this in programming, and Raf was helping me with it. That's what I'm working on. So he's supposed to be falling feet first, but something is not working in my raycasts. So if you see here in the bottommost picture, I'm taking the normal vector from the wall and the right vector from my character. I'm trying to face my character to face towards the yellow vector, which I get from making a cross product between the green and blue. It kind of works, but it's always rotated in the opposite direction. So that's what the issue is currently.
What if you just did a grappling hook mechanic? Because that's what it looked like in your demo.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, but I'm trying to go for gravitational push change. That's the main ideas. So,
what kind of ideas do you have to utilize that mechanic?
It's going to help with some sneaking aspects, and this gravitational thing will also help him to move other objects with gravity. So, like, throw a barrel at an enemy, or maybe there's a boulder in his way. He can go over it and make that boulder's gravity go to another direction. So, like, puzzle elements, probably.
You know, like sketches of that
going... Sorry?
You don't have any sketches of that, or
there's no sketch. We had some sketches, but I don't think I put them in this slide. But okay. I'll post them in progress if I find them. I think we had some. I think I had it in my old slide, which should be... I can't find it.
I see. Yeah, I mean, that's your. It sounds like your main mechanic. I'd love to know more.
And this is an animation 2D that I worked on. I'm not sure if the idea is being conveyed correctly here, but He can use the gravity on himself, the enemies, or any objects around him to make and manipulate that gravity.
The only weapon they have against the guards is gravity?
No, they also have a sword that we haven't added yet, but they'll have a sword too. Because they're an assassin, so. Kind of going for a look like this. So he can basically walk on the walls. And that can also help in like combat stuff. And just also look cool, I guess.
Yeah, that's a great art. Great concept art for reference.
Yep.
Do you have any plans of adding different weapons you pick up around the world?
Not exactly, because I was trying to. Because the sword, we're trying to make it more like he can summon it using his powers or something. But maybe we can, because Alex did mention that we can add an inventory system with different weapons. But we'll see how much time we have and stuff like that.
So summon weapons as in create the weapon with his power or pull it with his
Not
gravity?
create. It's going to, what's the word for it? I keep forgetting it, but materialize. He can. Well, I am following the series called the Stormlight Archives, and that's one of the powers they have. And this sword is what gives this character the powers of gravitation. Sort of. So he keeps it in. To go more technical, he keeps it in. And he can summon that from the spirit world into a real world. It's going too technical, but sort of like that. Or maybe he can keep the sword on him, depending on how we can implement that. But yeah, that's the idea.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you for presenting Assassin in White. If all the presenter leads can send me their presentation if they're willing to, it would be awesome. But let's move on to the next presenter. So I see a project called The Work We Care About. Do you have The Work We Care About here?
That's me.
I see.
Alright, yeah, I can share my progress. I didn't prepare a presentation. I realize now looking at the announcement, I was supposed to prepare a presentation. But that's alright. I can talk about. I'm working on one myself, so a lot of those questions don't apply. Give me a second. Alright. I guess I'm assuming everyone can see my screen. So let's see. So I'm working on myself. This is what I'm showing off is a project I'm doing for my senior project. I'm a digital media artist. So this is gonna be this is a game that needs to be finished at the end of November. So that's my schedule. I have 2 weeks or 2 months left, and I'm still prototyping. Anyways, I'm making a text game about what we should work towards. I was interested in this idea of the conflict between pursuing a safe career path or just doing whatever the hell we want to. I'm someone who likes to make video games and is not excited or is not drawn to any career or job other than game development. So I've been dealing with this conflict between passion and money, and I thought it'd be interesting to make a game about that, because it's, for one, it's a philosophical question that I'm interested in. It's also experimental, and I don't really see many games kind of express a subject like this. I'm creating a text game, right, using Twine. I've decided to use a text game because it really forces me to think about the decisions that the player is making, because that's what I feel like, that's what I believe is the important part of a game, especially narrative games, is the decisions that we make, because we are using a computer and there's a system we're interfacing with and we can make decisions, and that's also what I believe makes this medium unique, is that we have our active participation in the art or in the work. Also, the benefit of doing a text game is I don't have to make visuals. So, because I'm the only person working on this. All right, so what do you do? Ignore, there's this little error right here in the middle. Sorry, I forgot to take that out. That was a test, so ignore that. But, so what you do is you play as, in this game, you play as a character, you play as a fictional character that you create, who is just graduated from high school and is, you play as this character who is deciding, I'm not sure what they want to do with their life. They're trying to find meaningful work, work that they care about, which is why the name is called The Work We Care About. So I probably won't go through all of this. This is a prototype. So James, I've been showing James a little this before, but this is new for James. If you're here watching this, I'm trying to. So what I'm showing right now is a prototype that is meant to showcase the full game, but without any interaction. So all these like red decisions don't mean anything because they don't go anything. They don't go into anywhere. I realized I needed to create a finished prototype, a game that goes from the beginning to end, because I was too focused on the technical. Okay, well, anyways, let me just get started. So here in the beginning, I have John Smith. Again, you're supposed to create a character. In this prototype, I removed that feature. So John Smith, just generic character. Just graduated from high school. He wants to major in engineering or science. On the side, he has dabbled in filmmaking with friends. He enjoys cooking for himself and likes to write in English class. And then so the player gets presented this idea. What do you do? Do you go to college or do you just get a job? Right, these are usually the choices we have when we graduate. So that's why I chose these two. In this demo, you only get one choice. So I choose get a job. All right, where do you want to work? You only got one choice right now. It's Speedy Taco. So John gets a job at Speedy Taco. The work is tiring and unrewarding. Looking ahead of life, John realizes he has no plans. Others around him have gone to college to pursue careers, and this makes John feel uneasy for not doing the same. And continue. John's parents ask him what he wants to do now that he's graduated from high school. Who's had this conversation? So so it's like, okay, well, what does John want to do? Move out of parents? Does he want to go to college or work? Right. So John tells his parents that he would like to work, but what they really meant is, what does John want to do to have a successful future? Right? What do you actually? You could do whatever you want, but it's like, when I mean that, I mean what kind of successful career what do you want to do? What career path do you want to choose? That's really what they mean. And they want to support John. Parents want to support John in whatever decision he makes. So I've included some questions like, well, you can go to college, you could pursue a good career, or maybe you work hard and get promoted to a larger company. Or John simply doesn't know. I have to go to college. So then here it's like you're setting some long-term goals. But I don't know. Is that actually a goal that John wants to do? And then John tells his parents that he eventually wants to pursue a good career. So basically just confirming what you chose. Continue. And then, yeah, so what does John want to do? I won't finish all of it, but I will eventually have a finished prototype of this by next week. So if you guys want to play through the whole thing, you're probably not going to get these extra decisions like continue work or go to college. But I'll have some questions for you guys by then because I don't have any right now because this is unfinished right now. I just want to show off and participate in the showcase. So I guess I'll end it now with so my goals for this project is, for one, I do want to make I really want to focus on the decisions of this game and make them meaningful so that, you know, each decision you kind of understand how it is part of the message that I'm trying to talk about, and that also each decision has a short-term and long-term goal, and that you're aware of what that is. So my writing isn't super strong. That's why I really want to focus on the decision making and let that shine in the work. And I do want this to be a system that you can explore, experiment in, and come in with your perspective or come in with another perspective that maybe you would prefer, and see what outcome you can get out of the game. Yeah. And yeah, so is there any questions about this odd text game I have?
When you say create a character, would you choose the character's interest or just the name? Or?
So you choose a name, you'll choose their gender, and then because that's important for
pronouns.
I forgot what these are calls.
Pronouns.
Yeah, pronouns. Yeah, pronouns. So I need to know which pronouns to use, and then I think that's it. Actually, it's really just a name and pronouns.
I have a question in regards to your text-based game. Yo, cool. So yeah. So since you're focusing on a more narrative-focused sort of game with text-based and stuff, have you been trying to seek out, say, maybe feedback or potential help in regards to narration? Like, maybe like somebody who's into like, storytelling and stuff. How you've been trying to reach out to individuals like that, since this is again more narrative focused rather than a whole gameplay sort of ordeal.
Yes, I am, and I'm gonna ask for that next week. That's my deadline. I'm giving myself next Thursday, hopefully. No, it will happen. That is the attitude. It will be done. Otherwise, it will never be done. So my previous prototypes have all been super technical and focused, and I realized, oh my god, I don't have a finished game, and I can't really prototype the narrative part. I can't prototype how the players feel when they play through the game. So to your question, yes, I'm looking for that. I just hadn't actually had a prototype that really. I haven't had a prototype that showcases that, and that I haven't had a prototype that can test that yet. So that's my goal this week.
Interesting.
yeah. So I'm curious what your all thoughts are next week.
I'll be sure to look out for that. Sweet.
Yeah.
Coolio.
So,
Cool.
working on a purely text-based game, what are the biggest challenges you came across?
Well, I guess if anything, writing, because writing is not my strong suit, and I feel like my writing's pretty simple. It's all right. That's why I'm curious to get feedback from people who have more writing talent or just more writing experience. You know, like maybe my writing is just bad. So if anything, it's the writing, and yeah, I mean, thing is, there's not a lot of challenges because which is the reason why I chose the text-based game. There's not many software challenges. If anything, it's conceptual challenges that I face. And
So you like
a writing challenge.
How many branching like paths do you have like planned out?
So I was saying I'm not thinking about branching paths. It's more about the space you can interact with. Because I'm not. It's not like Witcher or Mass Effect where there's just it's not. I'm not designing it like a branching tree. That's actually the text game is more modular. It's more dynamic. Because like one node might, all the choices might link to one node, but the text would be different. So it'd be very difficult to visualize it by a tech tree or a tree if I wanted to. But I didn't really want to think about it as a tree because well, I guess it's it would be too complex for the scale I'm trying to go to. If anything, let's see if I can answer this. I mean, it's going to be within the realm of like going to college, not going to college, working, not working, or depending on what jobs you choose. Because you can choose different jobs, you can choose different majors, and just your choices end up affecting the text later on. And I want you to have freedom to kind of move around the system, so it's not like you're stuck in a tree branch. Does that answer your question, or at least give you a sense?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure how to answer that yet. That was a good question. Thank you. I'll think about that one.
Any last-minute questions?
I know you said this is again more like story based and stuff, but if you actually had the time and resources, do you think you can like slip in maybe like visuals and stuff if you were that ambitious?
Yeah, I haven't thought about it, but definitely because I know people don't like to read text, and that's fair. I don't like to read text either, and here I am making a text game, which is also why I want to keep the text brief. But I think if anything, actually, if I wanted to take this seriously, I'd do this in Unity, and or I don't know, maybe I could do it in web development. But I mean, the presentation here is not great. It's black background on white text. So I'm definitely going to make the text a lot more fancier. But in terms of visuals, I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. But I think it'd be cool to have maybe a representation of your character. Maybe each section could have a visual that kind of represents what's being talked about.
Mm,
You know, like when you're
maybe.
talking to your parents, you see your character with some parents. You know, it could be pixelated, so it's more representational or abstract.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, play with that idea. Let's see.
Yeah.
Coolio.
Is it possible to change the text and background colors?
Yeah, it's all in HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I
Okay.
just haven't done it yet, but yeah.
That might be a useful way to communicate like the characters, like how they're feeling emotionally.
Okay. Would you have any ideas?
Well, like if they're feeling depressed, having like the darker, like cooler, bluer colors. If they're feeling happy, something brighter, redder, yellower, so on.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't thought about that. Oh yeah, thanks.
All right. Thanks for sharing, Cole.
Yeah,
That was
thanks.
the work we care about.
Thanks for letting me share.
No problem. uh, is there anyone else in this call who wants to present or who was expecting to present? Because it seems like we're at the end of the sign-up sheet. I guess that is the end of presentations today. So I'm gonna send this out one more time. This is the attendance form for today. It would be great if you guys could fill it out. And as a reminder, there is actually prizes being finalized funding wise for the attendance raffle. And some of the prizes we have is a Kcron keyboard, a Fifine microphone, Razer headset, Wacom drawing tablet. We had something else, but I don't really remember. Keycron? I don't know, the one on Amazon. I'm not very sure. The drawing tablet is just like the small one, so it's like a portable drawing tablet that people could use easily. They'll welcome the small one into us. Yes. But yeah, if you want to win those prizes, make sure to fill out the attendance form every meeting. But I think that is pretty much it for today. Does any other officers have anything to say?
Should I end the stream?
Yes.
That's all I had to say.